Welcome to week 3. We're going to go over what is due this week, and I'm going to provide a little bit of detail. So for the discussion, please read the directions here. Depending on your last name is which case you will read. Answer the question within your assigned case and explain your reasoning for that code selection. So for example, if I have case 1, a patient received a CT imaging of the left leg with contrast at the Vista Imaging Center where the radiologist owns the equipment and reads and interprets their own studies. What is the appropriate CPT code and modifier if applicable? Just a hint on this one, please refer to your lecture because it will tell you the appropriate modifier. So in this case, I am going to include my steps. For example, I look up in the index, I'm going to look up the particular main term. So I would look up CT, and then I would explain what subterm I looked up, and then that I checked my tabular. So that's what you're going to do for your initial post. Please also note this right here. One of the 3 replies must be a different scenario case than your initial post. The reply must include a step-by-step of how you arrived at the same or different CPT code than your peer. So if I did case 1, for one of 3 of my replies, I'm going to do a different case than my own, and whether or not it's redundant, so if it could be the same steps as your peer, you're still going to outline your steps that you took to get to another scenario. Just look at this as additional practice. You can code all of the cases if you would like, because I'm not grading whether you're right or wrong. I'm looking for the steps that you're taking, and will provide feedback from there. The next assignment is the CPT coding job aid homework. So for this one, you are going to be using your CPT. Page 1 of the assignment will walk you through the specific steps of what it's asking you to do. But let's just go ahead and walk through a few of these tables to give you an idea. So you're going to need your CPT book. Section 1 is what's referred to as the index, and then section 2 is the tabular. This is the same if you've taken the CM course. This is the same kind of concept. So for section 1, what I would do, the title would be the index, and then the description, you can look in the book, but you can also describe, it's an alphabetical listing of all of the main terms that you could look up. So I'm going to provide an example from there. So if I wanted to look up, let's say, biopsy, I could look at the main term in the back of the index of biopsy. So that would be an example there. Section 2, that's your actual tabular. That is a listing of all of the codes as well as the description, and they're separated by chapters. So you will provide an example. So you're going to provide a specific code and include the description. On section or part 2, there's 6 sections of the CPT coding book. So your book is divided. The chapters are 6 different chapters. We just went over the first one, which is the evaluation and management chapter. You're going to then describe what that is and then provide a code as well as the description of the code from that particular chapter. So let's say I'm looking at the first section is the evaluation and management. I would put evaluation and management right here, and then I'm going to describe what that is. And you should be able to go to the front of your chapter for the evaluation and management. And it's going to tell you on my book on page 5, it talks about the E&M guidelines and what this chapter specifically is about. And then I'm going to pick a specific code from this chapter. So I would pick maybe 99255. And say this is an inpatient consultation. that it is a code within this chapter. Part 3, you're going to be looking for the symbols that are in your CPT book. The convention is the actual symbol. If you can't do the actual symbol, you can go ahead and just write out what the symbol is. Some students copy and paste, some just write in this actual symbol, which is totally fine. The description means what does that symbol mean? So, for example, if we're looking at the plus sign, we know from the quiz that that is an add-on code. So we would say here, this indicates that this is an add-on code. It can't be used without the base code. Then on the example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a specific example that has that particular symbol, a code with that particular symbol. So let's keep on with the plus signs. I'm going to look for a code with that particular symbol, and 93319 is an example of an add-on code. Appendix B is also something that you can use for to indicate what the symbols are, and it also has some specific examples. And if you have any questions, that is it for this assignment. For the resume and cover letter, what you're going to do is look at week 1 when you submitted your rough draft. Look at the comments within the assignment if there was any, as well as the feedback, and then apply that feedback to the final version. One thing I would ask you to do is make sure that you're looking at the rubric to make sure that you've got everything. And then week 3 is just a check-in of how you're feeling. Again, if you have any questions, just please feel free to reach out, and we will talk this week. Have a great week.